I know we used to always argue or joke about who was the favorite, and Safta did not do anything to hide who was the favorite. But despite that, I truly believe that I was Safta and Saba's favorite grandchild. I am not sure when I realized that Safta and Saba had a similar relationship with both my brothers and all my cousins. But to tell the truth, I think part of me still believes that I am the favorite. I remember when Kobe was born, I called Saba and Safta at around 3 o'clock in the morning. And if an outsider heard their reaction, they would have assumed they were hearing about their first child, or maybe grandchild. No way this was their 8th great-grandchild. We grew up what often felt like one big party, full of Pesachs, anniversaries, Chagim, and Safta was always the life of the party. Soon after I heard the news, I started to think about many of the wonderful times and stories that we all shared together with Safta. I wanted to remember everything, and I wanted to share them with my children. As I started remembering stories, they all seemed to center around one theme. They all showed one particular character trait that Safta had. It may shock everyone when I say it, but it was Safta's incredible patience. You may think that I'm at the wrong shloshim, or speaking about the wrong person, but allow me to share a few stories, and I think you'll see what I mean. I remember many years ago, we got a brand new kitchen table. That very same day, or maybe the next day, I was swinging on my chair and landed directly on the table, putting a nice big chip into the table. As you can imagine, I was in big trouble. Don't worry, Mom, I would have killed my kids for far less. But worse than being in trouble, I felt terrible. I had ruined the brand new table. Then Safta came over to me and said, "Don't worry, I have an idea how we can fix the table. It is not so bad and we can make it look a lot better." I don't remember if she was able to make it look better, but I do remember she made me feel better. The second story is also about me getting into trouble. One afternoon I had a bar mitzvah lesson. Before that, I left the house and did not tell anybody where I was going. Well, the lesson was getting closer and closer, and nobody had any idea where I was. I finally showed up just as the teacher arrived, or maybe a few minutes after he arrived. Well, as I said before, I was in big trouble. But that wasn't the biggest problem. I had to sit through an hour bar mitzvah lesson knowing I was toast as soon as it ended. Not surprisingly, I wasn't doing so well in the lesson. Then something happened. I remember like it was yesterday. After about 5 minutes, Safta walked in the room and interrupted the lesson and said, "Can I say something?" The teacher agreed, as if he had any choice. Then Safta said something I will never forget. Even though I don't even remember the exact words, she said, "Ezra is a great kid. He does so many wonderful things." Then she walked out. I may never have been, nor ever will be, much of a Baal Koreh, but I know that day my learning got a lot better after Safta left. The final example is a little bit more famous. When I lost my tefillin at Mount Airy, I felt terrible. Not just for the tefillin that Saba had bought me, but also for the bag that Safta made me. Safta's reaction was not to blame me, get angry at me, or anything else. All she said was, "Don't worry, I'll make you a new one." I took her up on that offer. She made me another, and another, and another, and another. I truly believe that each and every stitch holds a little piece of the love that Safta had for us. And I am also sure that Safta did more stitches for my bags than anyone else. Like I said, I was the favorite. When I had to tell my children that Safta had died, I took out their talis bags and baby needlepoints to show them all the special things she had gave them. My son Gabriel asked if he could hold his, and then held on to his talis bag for a while, like it was a security blanket. I know that he felt the love that Safta had stitched in, and I know that we will all feel it forever. Believe it or not, Safta was a very patient person. She never got mad at us. She never got us in trouble. She only patiently accepted our problems and reminded us of everything we did well. I used to show up for Safta's May party At the time, I told myself that I did it because it was a nice thing to do for Safta. Now I know the real reason was that it made me feel so good when Safta showed me off to all her friends. I asked myself, why was Safta so patient and accepting? The best answer I could come up with was that Safta was so proud of us and everything that we did that she did not see our mistakes. She just saw our accomplishments. Safta appreciated everything we did. It did not matter how big or how small. She would collect the certificates and letters that showed our accomplishments and would share it with anybody who would listen. She would take out our brag file and celebrate our successes, from the biggest to the smallest. The first thing could be Jay's letter of acceptance to medical school. Then it would be a certificate that Joshie lost a tooth, followed by a letter that Ezra had successfully served all the detentions he was assigned. I never had any doubt that Safta thought I was the greatest, and she was always proud of me. The day of the funeral, I was still in Israel, and I had a thought that comforted me as I realized I would never again have a chance to visit, to see, or to spend time with Safta. I imagined as Safta arrived in Shemayim, she was greeted by her father and mother. She had not seen Gross in 26 years and Oscar in 77 years, I think. They would say, "Nanny, tell us what we miss. What have you done?" Safta would open her brag file and say, "Let me tell you about your amazing family." Then she would share every accomplishment, big and small, for each person. For 3 children, 3 in-laws, 8 grandchildren, 8 grandchildren-in-laws, and 27 great-grandchildren. Then she would say, "Let's go to the funeral to watch Addie."